What's up, everybody? This is Moby Rich.
And we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Reunited with my dude Maxwell. It's been so long, man. Like, I was not expecting this to be a project that was yours right now because, like, for some reason, I always picture you like a bass player. Wasn't that what you were doing before?
No, it was like singer-songwriter. We were both doing singer-songwriter stuff probably when we first met you, because like we met probably 4 years ago at an open mic, and it was about the same time I met you, and just like was writing songs, and we met, and then Connor kind of like pitched the idea of doing a band together, and it just kind of worked. So
crazy.
Yeah.
As you guys got together and started collaborating on music, like in the studio, like what was that vibe like that first time that you guys hung out?
Well, like the first time that we hung out, it was like actually with Dylan, that dude that we met through, and then like we kind of got a vibe for each other, and then Connor asked me if I wanted to like try to write together, and the first time we ended up writing like a straight pop song, and then he kind of came and said like I want to try to do something like a little left of center. He was writing for other artists at the time, and so he kind of was like wanting to do something that wasn't in that world, you know? And so we ended up writing this song called Just Mine, which actually we released this past year. And so that kind of like shaped the world, and Connor started like this production that like kind of shaped everything for the project. So yeah.
So Connor, are you the main producer for this project?
I'm one of a lot of fingers that have been put into the pie of Moby Rich, but it's definitely a collaboration on some tracks, and then like Maxwell and I see everything to the end. But it starts with usually Maxwell and I in the bedroom, just making songs and writing together, and then we go from there and we take it into the studio, and then sometimes it starts with just creating a track ourselves, or we start with a producer. But at some point we definitely have we put our
stamp on it.
Our stamp on it, yeah.
Because there are things that he does that like kind of like shape the world from the beginning. So like for us, it's like really important to kind of keep that going as we start to work with other producers and other people out there. Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned Just Mine was the first like track that you guys released as Moby Rich. So what was it about that track or that sound that let you guys know this is your sound?
Honestly, at first, so when we sent it over to the guy I was working with originally, his name Patrick, and I sent it to Pat, and I jokingly in the email, I was like, I hope you fucking hate this. This is a song my buddy Maxwell and I just wrote. What do you think? And he like writes me back, and like, at the time I was writing pop songs for other artists, and he's like, stop what you're doing, stop everything, and concentrate on this. I'm like, haha, okay. He's like, no, I'm serious, because like you go from like we were both doing the solo singer-songwriter thing for so long, to hearing your manager say, stop doing that and focus on something new, and you're like, whoa. But then it was also like eye-opening to be like, oh wow, like there's something special happening here. And Maxwell and I were already like becoming quick friends, and we were just like, damn, this could be a lot of fun, and it has been.
I think it was like one of the main things for me, like too, is like you grow up thinking that there's this certain way that things have to sound for like record labels to want to like mess with you, and then all of a sudden like we had these lo-fi songs, and people were like, oh, this is so cool, and it was kind of eye-opening for both of us to be like, oh, like we can do what we want, and as long as it's authentic and we show that to people, like people can like mess with it, so that's like, and they dig it, so that was really wild for us.
I think literally the first time we wrote, we were just like, let's make something weird. Like that was like the first words out of our mouths, and we were just like, let's do something strange, let's do something weird, and like every chord we're like, ooh, that's not weird enough, let's get weirder. That melody, how can we make that melody even stranger? And we just kept fucking with that, and next thing you know, we have Just Mine, and people are like, and then we've been working on the project now for years, and we have like hundreds of songs that we just love and are excited to put out into the world. 2 more come out on Friday, and we're premiering one tonight. And we're excited.
So for a lot of your fans, they discovered you from Yoko Ono, from that single from last year, right? So for me, it was Sabotage. That's how I like first heard about you guys, and I got hooked on Sabotage. And then I listened to Yoko Ono. I was like, holy shit, like where is this coming from? So what was that creative process of Yoko Ono, and like what did Yoko Ono do for the band once like the fans were starting to like pay attention to that track?
I think like for me personally, like when we wrote that song, that was like one of those songs where after we wrote it, there was a moment like while we were writing it I heard, like, we were singing the chorus, and I was like, oh, this is just like a great chorus. Like, you know, there are moments where you hear like something back, because like a lot of songs you just don't know. You're like, you write it and you throw it out into the world, and you're like, okay, maybe people will like it, but like,
it's one of the very rare moments where we're like, I think something good's happening. Usually like 99% doubt, like total self-doubt, and then on occasion you're like, hey, I think this might be pretty good.
Yeah, but there was a moment when we were writing it. Someone, I forget who did it, but someone said, you know, like my Yoko Ono muse, and then that's like when the whole song just kind of flipped on its head, because it was like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't about just like a love song. Maybe it's about finding somebody that like Yoko was the John or John was the Yoko. You know, find someone
that weird that matches your strange.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of solidified that idea for us, and one thing it did for the band was like allow us to kind of realize like the things that we want to write about aren't just like the conventional things. They're like the alternate theories to what people would like. You know, self-sabotage is like, to us, is a very, of course, like everybody messes stuff up for himself, but the whole song is like that very notion that we're constantly doing it in our lives, like on a daily basis.
It's
you know,
like taking ideas and concepts that are pretty simple, but then like saying it in a way that Maxwell and I want to say them. So in a way that is like a little weirder than most people might say it.
Yeah.
And I think Yoko Ono was the first song where we're like, oh, that's a thing that we can do.
Yeah.
I like that, and that is like true to who we are. Right. Let's keep diving into that. I think we're at the time we were listening to like Neutral Milk Hotel and like a lot of like weirder indie stuff, and that's like kind of the stuff we love to listen to already. And like we're like, why aren't we writing like that? Why don't we write the weird stuff that we love? You know, and like early on in the project too, like Maxwell and I were like, wow, this is the first project we worked on that we were like, we'd actually buy this record. Like we would actually go stream this and listen to this. And like it'd been so long of like I like my music, but I'd never. I think, and then partly it is because like we're in a duo, so it's not completely about yourself, you know. So there's a bit of like
distance.
Distance, and allow like you allow yourself to kind of like be excited about the project because it's not just about you anymore. It's like it's this project you're doing with a friend, and now we have this huge team around us, and like yeah, it's fucking crazy, man.
It's insane because it's like, how do you go from singer-songwriter to this? Like, you know, if this was the music that you enjoy listening to, like, why did you decide singer-songwriter?
Like, well, the thing was, we both grew up listening to like Dave Matthews and Jack Johnson and John Mayer. So I think like it was it was such an easy kind of path into that. Like Dave Matthews, for me, like I know he gets so much hate, but like for me, he was like the first person that I looked at, and I was like, he had a unique voice, and it wasn't like a technically good voice, but he was loved by all these people, and his music resonated. And I was like,
awesome. It was just fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I could do that, you know. So those types of people, I think, gave me like the confidence. But then as like we got older, like MGMT and these other more maybe a little alternative and left to center bands became maybe like sonically more appealing to us, you know. So there's definitely something about the singer-songwriter world that I think we both have a soft spot for.
Yeah,
you know?
I think most artists at one point in their life are a singer-songwriter at some point, right? So like it's the easiest thing to do. It's like what can I do by myself in my bedroom? Besides what you're thinking right now, but like you can write a song. You can write a song solo. So I was like, I could do that. I could put it on CD. You know, like it's easy. I think that's where a lot of people start with it, and there's just so many great singer-songwriter artists out there, and like when you have people like Bob Dylan out there that are like the kings of like folk music like that.
Who?
And who? Bob who? Robert Dylan. He like you see people like that and you're like, wow, like you can go from writing songs just acoustic to them being like anthemic, and I think that was definitely a draw for that. And then but I think for Maxwell and I, we always wanted to be in a rock band. We always wanted to be jumping around on stage. And like as much as I love to sit down in a small acoustic venue and play a song stripped, which we also do on occasion, there's just nothing that compares to either or. So it was this was the first time we were like, wow, it felt freeing, and we felt like we got to be a part of ourselves that we haven't gotten to be yet.
That's cool because like not only is the music different from everything else, but even like the production process, at least for your first EP, you guys didn't do the conventional like way of producing or recording. It was like iPhone, and then it was like all like on the acoustic is where it started. So did you guys kind of bring that into this upcoming second EP that drops on Friday?
Actually, yes. Technically, all the vocals that we have released and will release on Friday have all been through recording vocals on an iPhone 5.
Yeah.
Which started as just necessity because I had no clue what I was doing. Yeah. Even with production, like when we started this, like it was just like, hey, let's
shit against the wall.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm gonna record vocals on this iPhone because I have no clue how. Still to this day, I barely know how to like record vocals.
We're working our way up, you know. We got them set up with some other stuff now, you know.
Sounds in no time.
Yeah.
Give us 4 more years.
Well, you know, since we're on that topic though, like what has been the most unique way of creating a sound that you've kind of featured on a track or an upcoming track?
Fart.
A fart. There's a fart sound on.
Ready for that one?
Yeah, I got this one in there.
Well, there's also which song is it? Where's like the dinosaur growl, which was like you yawning or something?
I don't know, but there was originally.
Was it Yoko?
No, but a song that we have coming out was like we took a dolphin sound and we stretched that out and that became like a swell and stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that like little things
for currents or oil spills.
Ooh, I think that one was for currents. Yeah. And then I think there was like one song where we took a refrigerator sound, like a sound from our refrigerator, and he stretched it out into a guitar solo and stuff like that. You know, so
yeah, we have this old ass refrigerator, and every now and then it just makes this like weird like. And I was like, that sounds exactly like a guitar solo. Hold on, and I like took my phone and like recorded it. It's hilarious.
A lot of the stuff is by the olden ways of just digging through samples, and shit. Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't imagine that though.
Yeah, and then we like to we try to make a lot of our own sounds and stuff too. It's like because like we didn't really know what we were doing at the beginning. We used to just like how do they make that sound? Okay, well let's take this stock snare and Fruity Loops 8 that I have and mess around with it until it sounds like that one. What's
cool though about like the way that we have been doing it and hopefully we'll continue to do it is because there's a dirtiness and a lo-fi way of doing things that Connor has kind of cultivated. When we take it to other producers who maybe are technically a little bit cleaner, it's like a nice middle ground between the two because you have this really, in our opinion, dirty, like hitty type of sound, and then they kind of clean it up and make it this a little more polished, and it provides like a happy medium between the two. It
gives the ability to cross over into other worlds.
Yeah,
which we don't want to be stuck in like just one place. I mean, like we want to be as big as we can possibly get.
Yeah, right. Which is like 5'10", 5'11" for me, but like he's a little bit taller, so
that's I'm good. I'm set. I'm done. I can retire.
We did it.
So, what is it about oil spills on this track that is significant of this song? Like, is this the next single for you guys right now?
Yeah, it's the next one we're gonna push right now. I mean, when we wrote this song, it was kind of like we as a band are not overtly political or overtly like we don't have an agenda like a lot of artists are pushing right now, and it's a beautiful thing when you find artists that are really passionate about something. But I think like
and we're trying to find
things.
And we are passionate. We're just like trying to find our voice still.
But I think with this song it was kind of like our take on the fact that we all grow up in this world that's tainted by so many things, like no matter where you look, you can find the corruptness in this world, and I don't think it's good to live in that all the time, but it is good to acknowledge it.
We like to keep things pretty vague. We like to sit on the fence, right in the middle. It's like, what are they talking about? I don't know. Do your own research.
Yeah, but if you listen to the lyrics of the song, I mean, there's a lot of different references about different aspects of life that are can become corrupt and can become a little bit focused on like the wrong side of things. So
it's about like how money kind of is the master of all things at times, and it can either destroy you or you can try to use it for good if you can. And I think the message of the song is just for people to try to make their own mind about the world and try to just be good people. Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah. We just shot a funny video for it, though. It's going to come out, so keep a lookout for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mustaches are involved.
So it seems like this whole project has kind of been a natural process for you guys. But I feel like there's also some challenges in order to create it that way. So what have been some of the challenges that you guys have faced in order to create Moby Rich?
I don't want to speak for you, but I think like getting over our own preconceptions of what we can be. if that makes sense. Like getting over maybe the preconception of like, oh, can we become this thing and like be that voice for a group of people, you know? And it's a daily battle. I think everybody goes through that in their own way, but you know, I think it's also beautiful doing it with a partner, you know? And I think like what he says like before is like the fact that it's not just you by yourself. I think that has made it so much easier to kind of like talk through things and just figure things out, you know, the obstacles that you do face. You're like, all right, well, we're together. We're not gonna, no one's gonna quit. So let's figure it out, you know? So
yeah. And the thing, again, go back to the, like being in a duo, it's like when we do write, and since we write everything together, we've decided that we want to write things that we both agree on or have at least both experienced. And we've also found that because of that, like most of our songs are inherently maybe a little more universal, and like we want to try to write as many songs as that can hopefully make people feel like they're not alone, and make people feel like they're heard. And that's something just a little part of what we're trying to do. And at the beginning, it was definitely difficult to do. And
because there are times where he's passionate about something, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling that. And so there's
like,
times,
let's not do that today. Let's find something else.
Like,
it might take a little longer, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
Because then you get something that you're both really proud of, you know? That's
well, fans understand that, too, or they feel that, too. When there's the actual passion coming out of what you write, like, I feel like the fans eat it up even more than, you know, when you're just trying to write something for someone else.
I just think, like, our biggest fear is, like, singing songs that we don't believe in, you know? Exactly. It's like, who wants to get up on stage and do that? I mean, like, the whole reason you get into this is because you think that you have something to say, you know? And that's what we're trying to accomplish, you know?
And speaking of believing in, Republic Records jumped in on you guys quickly.
Shout out
like,
Republic Records.
how did that kind of happen for you guys? Congratulations, by the way.
A lot of money was given. They gave us none. We actually paid them.
Yeah, we forked up about $72 for them to sign us, you know.
They signed us on the spot when they saw the 72. They're like, we'll take that.
I mean, like, we have been wanting to find the right label home for a long time, you know, and we took a long time before releasing stuff because we kind of wanted to find the right team. And we got, you know, involved with our management, Tap Management, who are the best. Shout out Tap as well.
We'll be honest, nobody wanted us except for Republic, so we just went for it.
No, but they're just super passionate about it, you know. When you find a group of people that believe in what you're doing, you kind of go with that. Your gut tells you to go with that, you know.
You want to go with whoever you trust. And that's like one thing in this industry that we're slowly learning is that when it comes down to signing, you know, deals or basically joining teams with other groups, it's like, okay, why are you doing this to begin with? And then do you actually believe these people? Do you trust them? Because at the end of the day, it's like nobody wins alone in this because you are in a group. If everyone wins, then everybody's like getting something out of it, which is exciting and makes us feel a lot better knowing that everyone has a little piece in it, and and that we're all fighting together for hopefully success.
Yeah, but my 16-year-old self would definitely be shitting himself, you know, if he knew. He'd definitely be like, "Excuse me, what are you doing?"
Where's the Lamborghini?
Yeah, he'd be like, "So why are you still living in an apartment right now?"
Well, congratulations with that, guys. Like, I really hope that, you know, more people gravitate towards the band. This EP drops on Friday, our second EP. Love the name. And, you know, what else can fans expect? Is there any plans for more tours? I know you guys just wrapped up an Australian run with Broods.
We're looking into the fall right now. We have 3 possible artists that we're looking at working with, and we're continuing to look at more. We don't want to say any names, but we are fans of all of them, and we would be honored to be on tour with any of them. So if you're listening, please put us on tour with you.
Yeah, and then
you know who you are.
Apart from that, we got some fire new songs that we're excited to put out eventually, and I mean, for us, it's just about growing. So hopefully, we're just going to continue to like build a community around us of people that.
He's at 5'10". He's got to keep going.
Yeah. You're both tall, so I'm kind of, you know, it's like
You're stuck in the middle, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Congratulations with the music. Congratulations with the signing. You guys be sure to check out Moby Rich. Our second EP is out Friday, and thanks for watching on Front Row Live.